Welcome, everybody, to the podcast. I am your host, Afro Black, coming at y'all with another episode. Uh, we got plenty of stuff for y'all tonight. Carter has been going super crazy with the selection of articles, so you can thank him for that. Let's see
Thanks.
here. We got about oh shit, we probably got like 12, 3, 6, 12, exactly 15. But we're only gonna go through some of them like super in depth, so it won't be too crazy. Not a super long. Um, I guess why don't we start with Slay the Spire. They are actually coming out with a board game. They are going to be kickstarting it actually, but they actually haven't started yet. But you can go and sign up to get notified when the Kickstarter does launch. That's pretty cool. Um, let's see here. On the 7th, so what was that, Friday? Yeah, Friday. No Man's Sky announced or released their 4.0 update. um, with that update, they finally released the Switch version, right, Carter?
Yup.
They released the Switch version of the game. Relaxed mode, which I'm assuming is something like similar to what's that one mode in Minecraft where you basically become a god?
Creative.
Creative. I'm assuming it's something similar
Man,
to
don't
that.
know shit about Minecraft lore.
I
But
don't,
yes.
bro. Don't.
Yes, it is.
Let's see here. Overhauled inventory, so I'm assuming it's gonna be a little bit easier to, not hate yourself. Revamped UI, tons of quality of life improvements, improved missions, level cap increase, custom game mode, info portal, new milestone system, increased challenge, crafting improved, commerce shuttle, which I'm not for sure about what that is, and new collectibles. What you think about that, Carter?
Uh, I mean, kind of the same sentiment as their last few updates this year. It's been cool to see them actively listening to the community and building stuff around that. Um, as far as the Switch port goes, I have heard nothing but great things, pretty much along the lines of there is no reason this should work as well as it does. Um, Like it's apparently an incredibly well optimized port from what I've read. So
That sounds fantastic. I'm happy
if
for him.
if you do not have a means, or if you have not had a means to jump into No Man's Sky, I mean, it definitely wouldn't be my first pick, but it's definitely a worthwhile venture if you've got a Switch and you are curious about that world.
Hell yeah. I would honestly
Fantastic
recommend
time.
it too. I've been playing I've been getting a lot more into space simulation games too
Yeah,
recently.
you've mentioned.
Yeah. Another one that I've actually been playing is what's it called? Star Citizen. Don't get me wrong, game definitely could use some improvement, and the devs could also be a little bit more speedy about it. But from what I've heard, for the most part, the community says that they actually do listen and they come out with quality updates whenever they do, and that they're basically just taking their time with it to try and make it as immersive as possible, essentially. Um, Now, how accurate that is, I have no idea. I just started playing the game, and I'm maybe like 3 hours into my save. So, but yeah. So that's cool about No Man's Sky. Happy for him. I hope that it keeps going, and I hope that the game does nothing but keep improving. Let's see here. Moving on to the next subject. EA did a very surprise. Well, I guess it got leaked at first, but the new Need for Speed game was leaked, and then later, shortly afterwards, it was confirmed. Um, it looks to be, I guess, full-on anime-esque type of art style. So I'm
Yep.
curious. Um, on Wednesday, members of the Need for Speed subreddit spotted the leaked listing for Need for Speed Unbound via Japanese retailer NeoWing. The listing says the new game will launch in December. EA has an announcement coming Thursday at 11 a.m. Then when it will reveal more about the next game. NeoWing's site included 5 screenshots watermarked NFS Unbound, showing a variety of tuned-up vehicles. Presented realistically, but with cel-shaded anime-style drivers and other NPCs in the frame. In one screen, a street racer throws hands-drawn star-shaped sparkles, and its tires leave a two-dimensional smoke trail as it takes a corner. According to a machine translated production description for NFS Unbound, the game will feature music and an in-game appearance from rapper ASAP Rocky, with a soundtrack produced by Broninsky, a French composer and DJ. Neo Wings page lists only PS5 for Need for Speed Unbound, which suggests the game might be a new generation launch only, which is untrue. This article is a little bit older, obviously compared to when we're airing this. It's actually coming out on PC too. There is a pre-order listing on it for it right now. Let's see here. Polygon on Tuesday reached out to EA representatives for more details on the next Need for Speed, but the publisher declined to comment other than mentioning the countdown to Thursday's reveal. The leaked screens confirmed that the game is developed by Criterion Games, which includes Codemasters Cheshire, which EA acquired in 2021. Criterion's latest Need for Speed originally targeted a 2021 launch until EA assigned Criterion to support EA DICE with last November's Battlefield 2042. Oh boy, that sounds kind of scary. Okay. So that's pretty cool. Have you ever played any of the Need for Speed games, Carter?
Yeah, I've played a couple of the newer ones. I can't remember what the PS1 game is, but I had one of them on that I'd play as a kid, and I've played whatever like the first one was that came out for last gen. They're okay. They're a little. I prefer Burnout, which is why I'm kind of bummed that Criterion keeps making the Need for Speed games, because they're also the guys who did all the Burnout games, and since they're so busy on that, they haven't made a Burnout since like Burnout Paradise.
That's true.
Um, but yeah, I mean, they look fun. I'm sure it'll be a good time. The art style's kind of interesting for a big AAA series like this, but
Very true.
I suppose it was gonna come in time. So
That's fair. Um, but yeah. As for me, I always like speeding or racing games. I actually played Need for Speed Heat for quite a bit. I haven't beat the game yet, but you know, I get bored easily. So, but it was a game, I promise. Um,
what a stunning endorsement.
right. Let's see here. We'll talk about more Overwatch 2 shit later. Let's see here. This one also was. Oh, this was published on September 29th. Okay, so this is a little bit old. For people that don't know already, Sackboy: A Big Adventure is coming to PC October 27th. The leak has a leak has confirmed PlayStation exclusive Sackboy: A Big Adventure is coming to PC on October 27th. Oh, it's not even this month. Okay, never mind. I lied. On October 27th of next year, according to an official trailer, which seems to have been published early by Sony's Latin American YouTube account. The recent Sackboy game will be heading to PC next month after previously only being available on PS4 and PS5. The trailer also confirms that the PC version of the game will support 4K, 120 FPS, 21 by 9 ultra wide monitors, NVIDIA DLSS, and VRR. Okay, and an official announcement is likely to be on its way soon, which I'm assuming it already has happened at this point.
Yep.
Let's see here. The game was originally released in 2020, starring Sackboy from from the Little Big Planet franchise. The game follows in its footsteps, instead of offering 3D platforming, which differs from the side-scrolling action of the main series. The game was reviewed as an 8 out of 10 and said, "A Big Adventure is a lovely spin-off to Little Big Planet that's filled with charming sights and sounds alike. Its level designs are adorable and creative, really shining in co-op, but still entertaining when played alone. Its platforming can occasionally frustrate, falling short of the precision and nuance needed to really make it stand out from other games like it. But the feel-good vibe that permeates every corner of its crafted world still makes it a joy to play." So for people that might be looking for their next Little Big Planet fix and don't have a PlayStation, then there you go.
Little
Um,
Big Planet's fun.
it's a good time.
It is a good time. I haven't played that one yet, but I'll probably scoop it on Steam at some point.
Fair enough. Usually, it'll probably be on sale at some point.
Even though I've got a fucking PS5, I'm sure I could get it for like $20 with that crazy. Have you seen the fucking GameStop sale they're doing this week?
No, I have not actually.
It's like I don't know if it's like fucking day of deals or whatever, but like they going kind of ham.
Are there? Like what?
Yeah, or like they had like the fucking Steelbook Gold Edition of Far Cry 6 for like $20, which has like the whole season pass. They've got like Outriders with the DLC for like 25. They're doing like Animal Crossing New Horizons with the paid DLC for like 60. Um, there's all kinds of shit. Like it's a big week for GameStop. For GameStop deals, I should say, but
Fair enough. Fair enough.
not a
Mad King
sponsor. I
Kiwi
just
says, "Loving this setup." Ooh. Well, I'm glad that
ooh,
you like it, my guy. I tried very little on it. I definitely
don't
bought
nope.
it.
He worked his ass off.
Oh yeah, true, true. Sorry, I
No,
worked my ass off. You better be
wow,
complimenting the shit
wow,
out of it. All right.
wow, wow.
Speaking of video game release dates, Beyond Good and Evil 2 overtakes Duke Nukem as most delayed AAA game.
Yep.
First announced back in 2008 by Michael or Mitchell Ansel, the acclaimed game designer behind the original Beyond Good and Evil and the creator of the Rayman franchise. Um, Ubisoft's Beyond Good and Evil 2 has now become the most delayed AAA game. Wait, what the hell? Most AAA game in history. That dubious distinction had previously belonged to FPS shooter Duke Nukem Forever, which was finally released in 2011 after being announced all the way back in 1997. Jesus. How do you feel? How
Yeah.
do you feel about that, Carter? I know you were saying something about it, right?
I don't think it's coming out.
You think that they're
I
just gonna
don't.
keep delaying it until people finally
I
either
don't.
give up or just forget about it?
Yeah. I don't think it should come out given the current state of Ubisoft.
Yeah. It has to be a fucking cesspool at this point.
I don't know. Like they're not giving me Rayman. I have no stake in them as a company at this point.
I don't care anymore. Okay.
I don't. Like that's fucking. I want Rayman, and they're not doing it.
How are you feeling about the Bayonetta release? I've never played any of the games, but I've heard really good things about it because outside of Babylon's Fall, Platinum Games has a fairly good reputation. So, I mean, I kind of just give it its flowers because other people say the game's good.
True.
Whether or not I will
True.
play it, I do not know. I do want to start playing Switch games on stream, but the problem is that the Elgato I have for some reason just doesn't want to cooperate. I don't know why. And even if it does, I don't have a TV for the Elgato to pick up sound. So, like, I have a TV over here, but I don't have one up here. So it would look really goddamn awkward for me to be doing this. Oh, hi, buddy. Be doing this while trying to talk to chat. So once I get it like a TV up here or something, then it'll be a different story.
True.
Oh, okay. Okay. But yeah, no. I think it would look pretty good. As for the new Super Mario Brothers movie, from what I heard once again, based off the trailer, why are you doing that? And
Hmm?
I need changes over here fucking with the damn camera. Um
Oh,
so from what I've heard, animation looks top notch. From what I've also heard, Jack Black does a really good job with voicing Bowser. Did not hear the same kudos coming or going towards Chris Pratt.
did you not watch the trailer?
I have not watched the trailer. I've been told to
Jesus
watch it a
Christ.
couple times, and I've just been hearing people roast Chris Pratt for it because it doesn't sound like he even tried.
I mean, he didn't, but like everybody else did, and it's great. Like Keegan Michael Key does Toad, and he does a fantastic job as Toad
All right. Do you think? Okay, here. Do you think
so
Chris
far.
Pratt is a good choice? I mean, if he's not gonna try, but all the other actors are gonna try, then that probably wasn't a good choice to go with Chris Pratt.
My problem with that, like, I wouldn't have an inherent issue with him doing the job that he did, but my problem with that is when they announced it and people were memeing on it at first, he made a statement that was like, no, I'm putting my heart and soul into this. You just wait until it's actually out before you judge my performance because I'm doing something that you've never heard before. But then, like, it's just him doing himself. Like he's not even doing a voice, which, like, yeah, I don't want him to go up there and do like a fucking stereotypical borderline racist Italian accent for 2 hours, but like he's just like, hey, it's me, Mario. What? Why am I here? What is this place? Wow, what an unexpected turn of events. And it's like, what the fuck did you? Why would you build that up?
Fair. I agree.
I don't know. I'm sure it'll still be a fine movie.
Yeah, I mean that's
Especially as
fair. I
far as like
think
video game movies go. I think it's going to be fine
if
because
what you're
Nintendo does
saying
have a very direct hand in this production.
if what you're saying is true, I think that the other characters might be able to just carry Chris Pratt through the movie.
I'm
But
sure that's exactly what's going to happen. Charlie Day as Luigi is something he wasn't. Luigi was in the trailer, but he didn't do. It was just like a quick little like cut through.
mhm.
Like they didn't do any voiceover or dialogue for him or anything. But I'm very excited to hear Charlie Day as as Luigi because I fucking love Charlie Day.
Okay. I mean, if with all this, then I might actually go and see it and give it a shot then. Um, let's see. What? Moving on to the next article. Ezra Miller returns for the Flash reshoots, and another sign Warner Brothers is sticking with the actor.
Best
Um,
timeline.
Ezra Miller has reportedly returned for the Flash reshoots. According to the Wrap, the troubled Justice League star has returned to the set following an apology for their recent behavior.
Best
Um,
timeline.
quote, Miller and their agent met with Warner Brothers film heads back in August, revealed the Wrap. It's claimed that this meeting was very positive about the future of DC's upcoming superhero flick, The Flash. It looks as though it went so well, Miller is already back on set. It's crazy. Additionally, it's claimed that the film has been testing positively, giving WB a compelling reason to smooth things over with Miller and carry on. Over the past few months, Miller has seen a number of troubling claims made about his conduct, which have which have even resulted in arrests and police involvement. They have been charged with burglary in Vermont, as well as other illegal issues in Hawaii, Massachusetts, and North Dakota. Additionally, Miller has also been accused of throwing a chair at a woman, grooming minors, and other serious misconduct. The actor drew nationwide attention when they abruptly deleted their Instagram and seemingly vanished. However, in August, Miller confirmed that they were suffering from mental health issues and delivered an apology. That's great. It's
Damn.
fantastic.
I also hold women hostage when I go a little bit depressed.
Yeah, I know, right? Quote, having recently gone through a time of intense crisis, one that you put another person through, but okay. I
Mm.
now understand that I am suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment, said Miller. Quote, I want to apologize to everyone that I have alarmed and upset with my past behavior. Well, I think I am committed to doing the necessary work to get back to a healthy, safe, and productive stage in my life. End quote. Now it looks as though Miller has at least done enough to appease the folks at WB. Okay. Discovery and hasn't been kicked off his own DC solo movie. At least if he has indeed been back for reshoots and pickups, despite Miller's recent issues, WB Discovery is yet to deviate from its earlier plans with the release date of June 23rd of next year, still set for The Flash. How you feel about that, Carter? You loving it?
This movie's gonna be a fucking train wreck, and I'm so ready for it.
Basking in the toxicity.
Oh, it's gonna be phenomenal. I can't wait.
Man, they be really plotting on my downfall. Well, no shit.
Like, like it's at the point that I truly, at this point, I'm going to be upset if fucking Jared Leto does not come back as Joker again. Because
That'd be
that's
fantastic.
like the precedent they're setting for themselves in doing all of this.
It's fair.
I'm so excited.
I'm just so fucking ready, man.
I am.
But yeah, I don't know. They say that WB reacted positively to what Ezra Miller has done, but I mean, he was gone for maybe 2 months, more than likely less, and issued a public apology that was very PR. So it clearly doesn't take a lot to get back into WB's good graces.
Yeah,
That's
but when he was at that meeting with them, from what we can tell, he didn't have anyone held up at gunpoint. So,
that's already a
you know,
positive.
baby steps, bud.
True, true, true. I'll give you that. So I don't know. I've never really been too confident in DC movies anyway, so I'm sure that even if Ezra wasn't in all this bullshit, it was probably still going to be bad anyways. It's
You're
just
not excited for the Joker musical starring Lady Gaga?
probably not. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, well,
I
it's
mean,
happening.
I also heard that apparently Henry Cavill signed out for a solo sequel movie for Superman. So guess we'll. They're
I
still
mean,
trying.
yeah, but like, I don't know. He does a fine enough job in that role. He just gets bad scripts.
Yeah, I'd basically say it's the same as Jason Momoa, to be honest.
He's like the one person in that DC universe where I'm like, yeah, there's something to redeem here. You just need a better writer.
What about Jason Momoa?
Eh,
You don't like him as Aquaman?
meh.
Why not?
I'd rather see Willem Dafoe do it.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's already in the fucking movie.
As who?
He's one of the main dudes down in Atlantis. You didn't watch the fucking movie. Don't you fucking lie to me.
I did watch the first one. I just don't remember what the fuck.
Yeah, exactly. See?
But you can blame that on script.
No.
No.
No, because even if you don't remember anything that happened in the script, like, there should be at least a character moment that made you go, oh yeah, that's gonna stick with me. And there wasn't. There clearly wasn't.
All right, fair enough. Um, let's see. Uh, moving on. Speaking there, we'll let you go ahead and just bathe in the toxicity and just let you go in. All right, Carter. Tell us about what's going on with the Google Stadia.
Google Stadia is fucking dead.
I
Um,
mean, you're gonna have to be more specific. I think a lot of people already know that.
yeah, no, Google is killing off Stadia. They are completely shutting down the service, and not only are they shutting down the service, but they are fully refunding anyone who put any modicum of money toward the Google Stadia. So if you bought fucking, if you're the one person that shilled out like $1,000+ you bought your Stadia Day One kit. You bought Cyberpunk, Red Dead, Risk of Rain, all the fucking AAA games that were on there. You are getting fully refunded for them because you cannot play them anymore.
Sounds
I don't remember
fantastic.
what the exact shut off date is, but yeah, they were really quick to say, "Hey, don't worry, we're going to give you your money back." Which I find hilarious.
I didn't
Um,
want that smoke.
the one thing that I have seen come out of this, which is actually kind of surprising, is someone on Reddit who had posted they have like over 500 hours in their Stadia save of Red Dead 2, and they're really upset because they're going to lose all their progress, which is insane to think about. But
That sounds like that man didn't. That sounds like that individual did not like their life.
No, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a really good port. Like, I don't know. I'll never find out, but
I mean, I won't tell you whether he's wrong or right, but hey.
it makes you think. So yeah,
What could have
Google
been?
Stadia is fucking dead.
Goddamn.
I know there's been some preservationists that are concerned about like exclusives and shit that were on there, but truthfully, I don't know that there were any.
I don't
So
think that was.
let me see. Oh, there's like a few indie games, but nothing massive. Um, one other story that's come out from this giant shutdown. Apparently, there was a Death Stranding sequel that Hideo Kojima tried to pitch to Stadia, and he had worked on it for about a month before they came back and said, "Hey, we're canceling it because it's not multiplayer." So that game was, you know,
That's
I
always
don't know.
fantastic.
Google's not good at choices.
Uh, they could use a bit of to say the least. I don't know what that does. Okay. But yeah. I guess I feel bad for Google at least a little bit. They tried to go into the console thing, but they should probably try harder next time.
Yeah.
Learn from No Man's Sky a little bit and figure out how to optimize the games right, and then you can figure it out maybe. Let's see here. Moving on to the next article is CD Projekt Red has actually been busy over the last week. They announced a bunch of shit, and is glad to hear that they aren't quitting or giving up on the Cyberpunk franchise. CD Projekt Red has announced the code names and brief descriptions for 5 new games, including 3 Witcher games, a new Cyberpunk game, and a brand new IP. Revealed on Twitter, it marks a major step for the developer in multiple respects, from developing its own IP from scratch to developing multiple full-size games at one time. In a separate release, the company says it is also adding multiplayer to a majority of future projects. This also marks the first time that we've learned the new Witcher trilogy will not be the only new games set in that universe. Um, the first project is Orion, a code name for our next Cyberpunk game, which will take place in the Cyberpunk franchise/universe further and continuing harnessing the potential of this dark future universe. Um, quote, Orion will be developed by a brand new CD Projekt studio set up in the U.S. I believe they are setting it up in Boston, I think. And then I think or maybe that's their current one. I'm not sure. I think it's in Boston. Don't quote me on that. Their next project is Polaris, a codename for the next installation in the Witcher series of games, which we recently announced was in pre-production. It is in the beginning of a new saga. We aim to release 2 more Witcher games after Polaris, creating a new AAA RPG trilogy. The full trilogy is intended to be released in a 6-year period, and what they mean is once the first game is released, the other two games should be released within 6 years of the first one releasing. Is
Yeah.
what they mean by that. They don't mean like 6 years from now. Let's see here. Next project is Canis Majoris, a full-fledged Witcher game separate to the current Witcher saga, starting with Polaris. It will be developed by an external studio headed by experienced developers who have worked on past Witcher games. Quote, it's not, or end quote, sorry. It's not currently clear which developer is working on it, though. The next project after that is Sirius, quote, a code name for the game developed by the Molasses Flood, set in the Witcher universe as well and created with support from CDPR. Um, it will differ from our past productions, offering multiplayer gameplay on top of a single player experience, including a campaign with quests and a story. And then their last new project is called Hadar, a code name for a third entirely distinct IP created from scratch within CDPR. The project is in the earliest stages from the creative process, which means we are not developing any game yet, but are working exclusively on the foundation for this new setting. Are you looking forward to any of these projects, Carter? Are you hoping for anything? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I always want games to be good. A lot of my disdain or hope towards those games kind of comes down to the studio and the track record that they've set for themselves up to that point.
Okay.
That being said, I find it very hard for me to get excited about any of these games because of Cyberpunk 2077, because of Witcher 3, because of the way CD Projekt Red sees fit to launch their giant AAA games in a state of disrepair. I am very tired of the whole fucking redemption arc in gaming story where they're like, oh, it launched like shit, but they put an extra year into it post launch, and now it's the game it should have been, and it's really cool. Like, I don't care. I'm so tired of being a fucking beta tester for a AAA company
That's
with
fair.
a $70 buy-in point, and I am not. I want them to be good. I do, but I'm not going to put my hope or excitement in something that A is so far from being released at all, and B is coming from a place whose last game was so bad it was pulled from all major digital marketplaces for upwards of 8 months.
Okay.
So we will see.
All right. I can't blame you for being skeptical. As for me personally, I I'm always hopeful that, or I am gonna say that I'm hopeful that they'll, even though Carter just said it, I do want them to redeem themselves with the second Cyberpunk game. After coming back to it after almost like 2 years of not playing Cyberpunk, because I beat it within like a month of when it first came out. Um, the game has definitely seen improvements. Quality of life changes, obviously stability changes. Um, so I think it's a decent pickup now, but I don't want a repeat. If they really want Cyberpunk to take off as a really good franchise, they need to get the second one right. Like there is no do over after that if they fuck this one up.
Yep.
As for the Witcher series, the games have always been fairly buggy, but as for the third game, it was a very strong send off for Geralt, and I'm glad that they aren't going to keep his story going and beating a dead horse. I'm glad that they're starting a brand new one. But whatever methods they go about trying to keep Cyberpunk, like the sequel to it, as strong as possible, they need to keep that same ideology for the first of this new trilogy, because people aren't going to be as attached to this character as they did with Geralt. Like those games have been coming out over like the last 6 to 8 years, and the third game was the last one that actually got people's attention. Like the other two were just like or like had a cult following, but that was about it. Um, so they are definitely going to have not necessarily like a hype train behind the new Witcher games, but they're definitely going to have a lot of people with faith in them for that franchise versus Cyberpunk. So I would say it's even more important that they get the Witcher series right, because that's their main course. That is what gave them all the success that they've had, basically. So they need to get both projects right. The Witcher Series 1 needs to be even more right. As for like the standalone multiplayer version, I have no idea what to expect with that. Because as far as I know, they haven't made a multiplayer game before this one that they're trying to develop. So I guess we'll see about that. I'm more concerned about like netcode and connection issues versus the game actually being good. But it is a close second. So, but yeah. Let's see here. Okay. On to the next subject, which, oh shit, no. Oh wait, no, that was fine. Okay.
Blew it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Um, GameStop is reportedly struggling to fulfill pre-orders. Wow, that's crazy. Who Who would have thought that the digital age would take over for physical pre-orders like everyone thought? That's crazy.
I wish they didn't. I more think it's funny that they're a store that literally sells one thing and they can't keep up with that one thing.
Nope. Kind of funny.
It's like going it's like going to a grocery store and being like, "Hey yo, you guys got food?" Like, "Nah, we did though."
We did though. We got dining tables though.
Yeah. We got like a cooler that you can put the food in.
But that's it though. No food. You're gonna have to go next door.
Actually, you know what? In our current state, we are actually also out of the coolers to put your food in. What? Because of scalpers buying all of them up as soon as they go on sale. That was a metaphor for video game consoles.
You don't say.
I had a very long weekend. My comedic chops are not up to snuff.
It's okay, bud.
It's not. my
Jesus.
defense mechanism is down.
It's done. There is no defense mechanism. It's just like it's bad. It's fine.
Yeah.
Also, just as a side note, let me know if this shit is lagging a bit too much. I'm probably going to get in touch with my ISP tomorrow and be like, "Hey, yo, fix my shit. It's struggling a little bit." Um, but yeah, as for this article, GameStop is reportedly struggling to fulfill pre-orders for various new games, including major titles like NBA 2K23. GameStop is obviously the biggest physical games retailer in America, as it's really the only major nationwide chain that is dedicated to games. Target, Walmart, and other stores sell games, of course, but they do not have the vast library of titles that sometimes stretch back to different console generations like GameStop does. Um,
GameStop barely does.
yeah, like they have, I think at ours they have like a very very few, like maybe 5 Nintendo DS games. I think they get like an Xbox One and a PS4 in every now and again. Um,
The 360 rack's pretty full, and usually I go in there.
that's fair. But yeah, no, they don't go too far back. Let's be honest.
I know
Um,
the website, if depending on when you check it, they have like 6th generation shit, but
but
I don't know.
like in terms of like in-store stuff, not a lot.
Yeah, no. In store they don't have shit.
For anyone still buying physical games, it's largely your only option unless you can find a local store that can fulfill those same needs. However, over the years, GameStop has encountered all kinds of hurdles as players shift to downloading games over buying discs, and the company has seen drastic changes due to changing leadership. A major issue that GameStop is reportedly facing right now is the inability to fulfill pre-orders. As reported by Kotaku, numerous GameStop employees are now noting that various system issues are leading to stores not having enough copies to give to people that already paid for the games. One employee told Kotaku that it was shorted on copies of 2K23 and pre-order bonuses didn't arrive on time.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Sorry.
That means that you're going to have to go out and buy a good game. Sorry. I'm
Like
not actually.
22.
Smaller niche games were having an even harder time with pre-orders, given copies were largely only distributed to people who pre-ordered and weren't necessarily sold directly off the shelf. One
Yeah,
of those
no,
would be,
GameStop has been fucking awful with that the last few years. Like
yeah,
ever since the pandemic, really. Like if you don't pre-order a game from them, they are not going to have that game in for you for 3 weeks.
yeah. A good example of that would be Digimon Survive. Once again, one of their more niche games. It was kind of like I wouldn't say like a sleeper release, but not a lot of people knew about it at the same time.
Yeah,
I think they
like
had one copy at our GameStop, which, according to the shit that I've been seeing online, is actually pretty good.
yeah, I bet.
Like people
Like
have been having difficulty finding it, like in a lot of places, to be fair, but GameStop in particular, good luck trying to find one.
well, like, and I don't know, like there are some games I can see that and it like doesn't strike me as too odd. But if it's a game like that where I have distinctly remembered going in to get something and I see them advertising that on their TV,
Mhm.
I would expect them to try and get that.
I would think so.
Because I think the last couple times I've been, last time for sure, but I think the last 2 or 3 times I've been in there, they have been specifically advertising that game on their TV. So to like just not have it is baffling to me.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Oh shit. Fuck. But yeah, no. My whole thing is, it's so bad to the point where I don't know how many of the people in the chat, or if you're watching the VOD, how many people watching the VOD know or like actually go to their GameStop, but they've pretty much like they're slowly shifting to more towards like collectibles and stuff.
It's a fucking hot topic.
Yeah, it's basically just turning into a hot topic with games too. I would say it's more like a 60-40 kind of thing.
That's being pretty generous even. I'd say like 75-25.
Yeah, it's and I mean, I guess to be fair to them, they have been a physical retailer for the longest time, so obviously they're gonna get drowned out just like Blockbuster did eventually. But I mean, they're also trying to do a bit more compared to Blockbuster because you know collectibles seem are like pop culture collectibles are still stuff that they can technically sell because it's still under like the game portfolio. Like even if it's like a shitty like fucking last minute game for as basically as a promotion for a movie, and they can still make shit for it that people will still enjoy because they went and watch the movie instead of playing the game. So, um, also pop figures or Funko Pop figures.
Gotta get them Funko Pops.
Yeah, yeah. They got a lot of those. They got I think there's like two whole shelves dedicated to Funko Pops at our GameStop.
Gotta get the GameStop exclusive Conan O'Brien Funko Pop.
Hell yeah.
I
Not
love
actually.
Conan. He's the first thing I think of when I go to GameStop.
Jesus. Let's see here. Moving on to the next article, which we can just kind of like glance over. Deadpool 3 has basically been announced. It's
Not
supposed to be
basically.
coming. Basically. It's
No,
basically.
not basically.
It's basically, man.
Ryan Reynolds has done like 3 videos about it.
Oh, I only seen the one sneak peek or whatever, the one teaser. Um, but yeah, it's coming in 2024, and Hugh Jackman is returning as Wolverine. I'm not gonna really read the whole article because I think the title says enough
That
about it.
is the whole article.
Yeah, exactly. So, what do you think about that, Carter? Are you excited or are you terrified to see how bad they're gonna butcher Wolverine? And are you
If
mad about them
they,
bringing him back?
I'm not mad if Ryan Reynolds still has full creative control over it, like they are touting that he does. I think they're going to do fantastic with it.
Yeah.
I think so. I think Ryan Reynolds has had such a grip and understanding on that character for years that is I feel it has single handedly played into the success of those movies, the first two at least. Um, Honestly, I think if anybody else was doing that movie, they would do it such a disservice that it would not be what it is. As far as comic book movies go, I yeah no I I'm kind of anal about the current state of the MCU. That is one movie that I am going to grant a very heavy exception on, just by virtue of the people behind it,
All right. Respectable.
because I know they're not going to just fucking
Just
squirt
fuck it
something
up.
out if it's not up to their par of quality.
It's fair. As for me, I'm not gonna lie. Even though, like, I do think that Ryan Reynolds has a good grasp on Deadpool, I'm still kind of apprehensive on what they're gonna do with Hugh Jackman personally, just because I think that Logan was a perfect send off to him,
Oh, 100%.
and I don't really think that they needed to bring him back. In fact, I don't think that anyone but Ryan Reynolds could have brought him back.
No, and then that's what I'm saying. If this was something that they came out at like Comic-Con and they were just like Hugh Jackman's coming back for a Wolverine movie, I'd be like, fucking why?
Yeah. But I mean, I yeah, I don't know. I'm apprehensive about it. I do think that Deadpool 3 will still probably be overall a really good movie. I just hope that they do Wolverine justice. But I am glad that they're doing another R-rated movie for Wolverine because Wolverine is one of those characters that I've always said is not good unless he can be in an R-rated movie. It's
I don't know. I think he definitely has more of a chance to shine, but I don't think the live action X-Men movies were bad.
Oh no, I'm not saying that they were terrible. It's just I just think he does better. I just think the character itself is a lot better if he's allowed to,
Yeah,
be the
he's
gory
an edgy
superhero
boy.
that he's supposed to be.
He's an edgy boy.
Just like Punisher, Spawn, Blade,
Yeah.
all that good stuff. There we go. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing more trailers and more sneak peeks of it. Guess we'll see how it goes. Next bit of news, a little bit of multiverses stuff. According to PC Gamer, multiverses decides people were leveling up too quickly, doubles the time needed. Multiverses has doubled the amount of time needed to level up characters, much to the frustration of a handful of fans. Each multiverse character has a mastery level. A brief glance at the amount of time spent with a character. Most characters don't have their full kit until level 15, with an assortment of perks and specials being locked behind the system. It means ideally you want to be hitting that FET level as fast as possible when trying out a new character. Unfortunately, Player First Game says in its patch notes that players could get to level 15 of the Mastery track too quickly, doubling the amount of experience needed between levels 3 and 15. While it makes sense in minor ways, increasing player retention and giving people more time to feel out their characters, it's certainly a choice that has upset some. The game's official subreddit is a real mixed up bag right now. While some players agree that the grind wasn't quite grindy enough, others are pointing out that it's simply making things needlessly harder for future players. Um, some have also expressed concern that it's an attempt to potentially sell the game's experience boost separately in the near future. Um, Multiverses is still mighty new, and Player First has been doing its best to communicate and feel out which direction is best for the game. It's still in open beta, so it deserves some allowance, but changes that increase the time sync aren't always great. On the plus side, this update also brings the much requested character of Rick, so people do have something to cheer for. How do you feel about that, Carter?
I don't know. I can see both sides of it. Um, I yeah, like it. I really don't know. Like,
No?
on the one hand, I can see where they're coming from with wanting to maybe, put a little more effort behind people having all of the shit unlocked on their character. But at the same time, with how hard they push the free to play
Ow.
model to do it, um, I do kind of have that same fear of how are they going to monetize it because
True.
it's a free to play game.
Yeah, I get that. I get that, not frustration, but that scare.
So
Um,
we'll see. I honestly haven't. I've gone in to like fuck around with the season one characters they've dropped so far, but I have not played it like I did when it came out in July.
that's fair. I have not played it at all, so I cannot comment on it too much. Me personally, I can understand the frustration of potentially having to basically chill out for a fucking level boost because, they want more money. But at the same time, it is a free to play game. You can take as long as you want to. It's completely subjective, so I don't know. There's not really like a hard stance to really take. If you don't want them, then I mean, you'll just have to grind a little bit longer. And
Yeah.
if you don't really care, then buy the boost and you unlock shit quicker. So that's it. But yeah. So for people that didn't know that, there's your little bit of multiverses news. On to another quick snippet. Magic the Gathering is going to be celebrating its 30th, or is it already? Let's see here. Magic the Gathering 30th Anniversary Edition is a new product created by Wizards of the Coast, which, also fun fact, they used to make Pokemon cards until about like 2004, I think, too. and then Pokemon Company just kind of said, "Fuck you, we're making our own cards." Um, so yeah. Anyways, in order to celebrate the card game's original launch in 1993, each box will contain 4 packs of 15 cards. Each card will have a unique card back, and none of them will be tournament legal. This commemorative collectible product, as Wizards calls it, will cost $9.99 for people that are want to know where the decimal is. That means $999. Sales start online beginning the 28th of November, with delivery for consumers in NA expected before the end of the year. According to a post on the official Magic website, the set is intended to represent the full 30-year history of the game by re-releasing some of its oldest cards in a highly collectible format. Wizards is hoping to invoke the same rush of opening a pack of cards from the alpha or the beta set. That includes the potential to find multiple cards from the Power 9, which including a remake of the iconic Black Lotus card. Which, if you guys don't know, um, the original Black Lotus from the Alpha set, so the very first production of the Magic cards, period, is like 6 figures, like high 6 figures, and that's
Yup.
like without sending it to a grading company, which to be honest, I would never fucking do. That bitch is staying in a safe, fucking quadruple sleeved, and fucking 3 top loaders and behind bulletproof glass. Um, so yeah. Uh, let's see here. Cards will feature touched up art where needed and will exclude some cards. Quote, we wanted to be nostalgic, end quote, Wizard said on his blog, but not everything met our modern standards. For instance, Crusade, which was removed from the Magic archives in 2020, along with several other cards, will be absent from the set. Contract from Below, Dark Pact, Demonic Attorney, Earthbind, and Weakness have also been excluded. Um, Let's see here. Here's an official description of what you might expect from inside the box. Each display of the 30th anniversary edition will contain 4 packs of pure nostalgia reimagined in a modern context. Once again, each pack will have 15 cards, 13 cards in the modern frame, 1 rare, 3 uncommons, 7 commons, and 2 basic lands, plus 1 basic land and a retro frame, 1 additional retro frame card, and a token. Friendly local game stores will also be able to get in on the action. All Wizards Play Network stores will receive 1 copy of the 30th Anniversary Edition for display purposes, while premium WPN stores will receive 3. I really wish Julio was here because he could actually give us a comment on
Yeah.
it. As for me, I don't play Magic game or the Magic card game or anything at all. I don't collect the cards either. I did think about it a little bit not too long ago because they came out with a special Warhammer crossover. So they brought out, I think it was 4 commander decks. So like their starter decks basically is what I'm talking about. Each of them basically like showcasing a different faction in 40k. So you had the Tyranids, you had the Chaos Space Marines, the Necrons, uh, and the Inquisition. So it was kind of meh, but I looked at them when they showed up at Walmart, at my local Walmart, and I wasn't really impressed with how they did the cards. Like there wasn't anything extravagant or anything about them. So I was like, meh. And they were also charging like $60 like per box. So I was like, I can pass. But they are also supposed to be coming out with a Transformers crossover in November, so and those cards look slightly better, so we'll see. But yeah, those were the only 2 times I actually cared about Magic. So I'm not even remotely looking at this $1,000 box. It's just not a thing. Um, I don't know about you, Carter. Do you play Magic at all? Do you collect Magic at all?
If you're thinking about buying this box, please go outside and consider touching grass.
I think you need to relax. Listen,
I
if you guys have the money to spend on it without breaking the bank, all right, because don't be that fucking idiot, all right. Let's just not even think about it. If you have the throwaway cash for it and you're an avid Magic the Gathering set collector or whatever, or even player, then just get them. They're a cool
they're not
collectible
even
item.
tournament legal.
I mean, you might be able to still play them at locals though. Is what I'm
That's
saying. I'm not
but
saying local
why
tournaments, but
risk it?
I mean, even if you can't play them, like I said, it's a good collector's item. It's about a series that you may or may not love. If you love this series and you have the throwaway cash, get it. I mean, it has a bunch of fucking retro cards in it, and you're supporting a company that's been making the fucking game for 30 years. I mean, it is what it is. Now, whether or not it's overpriced really just depends on how much people are like. If you're planning on reselling it, then it really just depends on how much people are willing to pay for the fucking cards. Um, but I would definitely say that even if I was an like Magic the Gathering collector, I don't know if I would get it because that's a lot of money. Like I've been avoiding buying a specific card from like the more modern era of Pokemon for a really long time now because the card is like $500 to buy. So that's about my limit unless I know for a fact that I'm going to be able to sell it for a shit ton more. That's my motto. So, I don't know. That's
It's
me
just
personally.
there's so many more beneficial and cool things that you could buy that would last way more long term for way less money. You could buy
Mm,
like a medium end gaming PC.
I mean, that's assuming that they like
You
PC game.
could buy a current generation console. You could buy
Assuming
a
that they don't
Steam
have one
Deck.
already.
You could put a down payment on a car or a
They might already
house
have a car. They might already have a house.
in this economy. Do you think Magic the Gathering players have a house?
I don't think a lot of people in general have houses.
Yeah, exactly.
But nonetheless, I mean, that's just like that's a slightly
You could
biased take, Carter.
you could pay off student debt. It's not even biased. Like
What
even if
I'm
I
saying,
was if
listen,
they came out this week and said the same thing with like a Pokemon set that was coming out, I wouldn't fucking buy it for the exact same goddamn reason.
but that just
It's
means though that
nine
you
hundred
don't
dollars
really
of shit that you
now,
sit there and
Carter.
gawk at.
Here's the thing. I explicitly said if you have the money to just blindly throw away. So that would mean that none of those things that you just listed, they're either A, taken care of, or you're not worrying about it.
To all the millionaires listening in our stream, if you can afford a Magic the Gathering card set that is in no
I
way
hate this man.
tournament legal, like
Anyways,
I don't fucking understand.
that's
I don't
fine.
get it.
We'll
I'm
just
sorry.
agree to disagree. That's fair.
That's my
That's fair.
fucking boomer take of the evening, I
That's,
guess.
that's fair.
I don't fucking get it.
It's fine. Listen, you don't have to get it. Just agree to disagree. It's okay.
It's like almost an entire paycheck for me.
It is. It's more than one paycheck for me. But like I said, the only time that I'd be spending that kind of money is one, I have the room on my credit card. I know I can pay it off in a decent amount of time, and I know that I can make a shit ton of money off of it. Those three factors, if
See, but
those
like,
are
and that's
met,
the other thing. Like, you're not even doing it for you. You're doing it so you can scalp them.
I mean, it's more like grade it and then resell it as a collectible because that's what it is.
That's what scalping is.
No, scalping is reselling the product right as soon as you get it, or holding on to it for a really long time as a whole product and then reselling it when there's literally no demand or there's a high
Doing
demand but
one
there's none of it.
extra step doesn't make it not scalping, though.
It does because it creates a different kind of demand and value. If you're slabbing it and shit, you can't use it for anything but staring and gawking at.
I don't know. This entire fucking story just makes me sit there and go, Jesus Christ. So
It's okay, buddy.
I
Um,
had to fucking stare at the add to cart page for about 15 minutes when they emailed me about my Steam Deck earlier this year. So
let's see here. Overwatch 2. Let's talk about that, shall
oh
we?
good, here we go. Got me started.
Oh yeah. So save these for last because I know this man's about to go on a tirade of some sort. All right. So for people that have been living under a rock, Overwatch 2 launched this week, and to say they've been having issues is an understatement. So this was posted on the 4th, Overwatch 2 was hit by a series, or actually two at this point, DDoS attacks. One on
Yep.
launch day, and I think one the day after, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Before the first one had been resolved.
Yep. Let's see here. Quote from, I think this is actually from Blizzard. Quote, we're steadily making progress on server issues and stability, as well as working through a second DDoS attack, Keller wrote. We're all hands on deck and will continue to work throughout the night. Thank you for your patience. We'll share more info as it becomes available. I think it was Martine, Alex, and a few other people in our personal Discord that were having some issues. The server queues were getting pretty beefy. I know that at least I think Martine ended up sitting in queue for like an hour.
Yeah, I believe it.
It was pretty bad. People were pretty psyched about trolling the launch day. So um, at the time of that posting, if you were struggling to find a match in Overwatch 2, Blizzard shared that it's currently under attack under a master distributed denial of service, so DDoS, after preventing successful matchmaking. Blizzard president Mike Ybarra shared that the Overwatch 2 servers are under a mess. Okay, that's literally just a repeat. It's unclear how long it would have been taking. How long did it take to get the servers back up?
Um, like Thursday night into Friday, I think, is when it finally popped off.
Jesus. So yeah,
Yeah.
they had that to look forward to on launch day, so that was pretty cool. Um,
But then the worst part is after it got back up and people were able to get into the game, they realized that they were playing Overwatch 2.
they're having a blast. It's just 10 out of 10. Let's see here. On to the second part of this shit show. New Overwatch 2 players will need to play 100 matches to unlock original characters. And a new blog post over at the Overwatch website has revealed that new players will need to grind out around 100 matches to unlock the complete roster of original Overwatch 1 characters. Quote, new players begin with access to a limited set of game modes, heroes, and some other restrictions to onboard them more gradually, they revealed. The first phase of our new first-time user experience rapidly unlocks all the game modes and the ability to chat in-game, and the second phase unlocks all the original Overwatch heroes over the course of approximately 100 matches. Um, the idea behind the move is to prevent overwhelming new players with too much to learn, considering each hero has a unique set of abilities and counters. This is certainly an understandable and structured way to get into the game. Quote, this focused experience eases new players into the world of Overwatch by teaching them about different modes, rules, and other high level aspects of the game in an approachable way, they said. Importantly, these restrictions won't be in place if you're in a group, so new players can still team up with their friends and try out heroes and game modes they don't have yet. Competitive is the exception to this rule because new players must complete a specific challenge to access this game mode. While this move could be seen as controversial, it looks as though the Overwatch community is pretty pleased with the change. 100 games for 32 heroes. That's roughly a new hero to try out every 3 matches, said one Reddit user. That sounds like a good way to keep players in that just one more game mindset. Um, quote, it's about as close to a practical tutorial mode I think devs can get in an FPS, said another. I'm certainly not complaining at this, including matching new players in separate server instances with other new players, all the better. It will definitely keep new players from getting immediately roasted by better players and by match chat, which will probably create a higher retention rate of new players, which is what Blizz is going to be wanting to bolster with it being a free to play model. As well as easing new players into the game in an organic way, fans are also pleased that the change will potentially reduce the number of smurfs and hackers. What do you think about that, Carter?
So, on the one hand, I can understand their intent behind doing that. I think it's important to, with a roster that big, when everyone is so unique, to kind of, slowly kind of have that content creep so that way people aren't getting overwhelmed with the. I think we're over 30 characters at this point in that game. I can't remember the exact number, but I feel like 100 matches to unlock all of those characters is a little bit egregious. Um, to put that in comparison, Smash Brothers Ultimate did the same thing with its base roster, I should say, of like 72, 74 characters. Um, you really didn't have to grind over 100 games to unlock all of those characters. You would just go through, play maybe one or two matches, and then it would pop up saying, "Hey, there's a character to unlock." Um, the intent is good, the execution is bad, which is honestly where a lot of the gripes I currently have with this game kind of fit into.
That's fair. Okay, I can agree with that. Um, my problem is the last 2 points that they try to make. One, it doesn't really keep people from, in my opinion, like coming from a person that played MOBAs and stuff for a handful of years. My frustration is the same thing as I had with League of Legends, where it's really frustrating not having all the options available. Because me personally, I don't get overwhelmed by the amount of options. I literally just ask and say, hey, what character or champion should I be learning in this role? Hey, what character is good for this role that I usually do in all these other games that are like it? So for me, it's very easy to hone in and focus on a certain set of characters to learn. It doesn't matter how many are unlocked at the beginning. If anything, it's going to just piss me off if I can't have all the options available. Not only that, but that's literally what for normal games are for, is to help you get adjusted to the champions that you actually want to learn. So gatekeeping that by X amount of hours playing doesn't really help, in my opinion, for that. Number two, helping you get not roasted by better players in a match. That has nothing to do with having less characters available. If anything, if there are people that are going that balls to the wall in a normal match and trying to talk shit to you, they were going to get pissed off at you regardless of what character you are playing. It does not matter. Okay? Number two, you're making it also sound like there aren't already players from the previous game or just in general that have a bit more experience shit talking you because they just so happen to play a lot of that character that you either just unlocked or already had unlocked from the get go because it was one of the beginner ones. So I don't see how that third point helps in any way whatsoever.
I guess like there's also a lot of characters that have a really high skill ceiling. So to just sit there and present somebody with all of that at the same time, I don't know. For a game like that, there's really not a lot of stuff that's out that compares to Overwatch. I mean, like there's an argument for Valorant, but like as far as like widely available games, I don't feel like there's a ton of hero shooters that are out there for people to do.
That's fair.
So to just put them in that environment where they're like, hey, here's 30 characters. This one takes 10 minutes to pick up and learn. This one takes 8 hours. Like, I don't know. I think you're kind of screwing your people over if you're just like, you can play all of them. You're just going to have a really bad time trying to learn the curve if you don't have a general feel for the game.
I mean, in that case, then I mean, instead of just hopping all over the place and having ADHD, if all the options are available from day one, you literally just need to hunker down and just settle on a few. Like, if you're really that confused or overwhelmed by it, then either have friends help you out on deciding it, or go online and see which ones are best suited, or just learn on your own too. Any of those options really work. I don't think, and even then, like, okay, sure, like, let's go ahead and say that I do agree with that statement. I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you also on the fact that it should not take 100 hours to complete all of them, or to actually unlock them all. Especially since there aren't actually a lot of characters. But once again, I come from League of Legends that has like well over 100 fucking champions. So, but yeah, that's kind of like my stance on it.
I
Other than that,
suppose.
I also don't think like, yeah, sure, they're probably gonna attract a lot of people like to the game that are brand new. But I also think that a lot of veterans are going to be returning, and I guarantee you have at least one vet either on your Blizzard friends list or on your, like, just in a friend group or something like that on Discord that you could probably ask for help as well. Either that or they're already playing the game and they want people to play with. Um, but yeah. Anything more to comment on that, Carter?
Not on that part, no.
All right. Well, the highlight of this, or the last article, I should say, Overwatch 2 requires a phone number to actually be able to play it. Not only that, but it has to be from a contract obligated phone. It cannot be from a prepaid phone. Tell us about it, Carter.
So this game is free to play, but it is only free to play if you have the income to subscribe to a contract or sign up for a contract, um, for a cellular plan, aka Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, U.S. Cellular, whatever. A very big example of people that they will not accept phone numbers for are people like Cricket Wireless, or like people where you pay for what you use instead of, hey, here is a contract where you are shelling out a ton of money every month. If you do not have a expensive phone plan, you cannot play the free to play game, which is super cool.
It's great.
To They have come out and said that for certain people, particularly veterans of the game, they are going to get rid of a majority of that requirement, for the most part. But they've kind of come out with that and also said, hey, if you're a newer player, this is still most likely something that is going to apply to you as far as what you need to do to be able to play the game.
It's wild.
The free to play game. Like, they're literally gatekeeping a free to play game.
We made
We
made a free to play game to make it more accessible to people that may not have as high of an income as other people. By the way, you better have the money for a contract obligated phone.
We're just going to engage in a little bit of light class warfare, so that way when we download this free to play
Just a
game,
splash, just a splash.
just a smidge of
Just
class
a little
warfare.
smidges.
But like, the problem is it doesn't even extend to, or like, it does extend so far beyond fucking people here in the States, because that's like worldwide, and there are a lot of people in like foreign countries that are reporting problems with their major carriers for that region
Oh, really?
for the same reason. Yeah.
That's wild.
So, and even then, like, the point still stands. Like, they've come out and said, yeah, we're gonna fix it, but it's not gonna be fixed for everybody. So,
Yeah, no.
boo-hoo, sorry.
Woo woo.
And unlike other games where, like, it's like, oh, if you don't like this one, just go back and play the other one, then you can't do that.
Nope, it
They
gone.
killed the Overwatch 1 servers before Overwatch 2 even launched, which is insane to me. It's fucking insane. Even within Activision Blizzard, I have never seen them do that. Even though they churn out Call of Duty every year, you can still go back and play the other Call of Duty games.
Yeah.
Like, the Black Ops 2 servers are still online. You can go back and play the old games. I get why they did what they did. They won't say why they did what they did, but I get why they did what they did. It's very frustrating. I have gotten into the game. Fun fact, when I logged into the game for the first time, they were like, hey, we found a Battle.net account that we think might be associated with you. We're going to start queuing all of their stuff into your thing. Is that cool? The name, this Battle.net account is not one that I recognize. I don't know who this person is. Never seen the tag in my life before. I hit the no button, and they were like, all right, dope. We're starting your account sync now. Currently, my Overwatch 2 experience on PlayStation 5 is locked to PlayStation 5 because somebody else's Battle.net tag is attached to my shit. I can still play, and I've got all of my stuff from PS4. So like my skins are still there. On top of, he didn't have a ton, but there were a few skins that this person had that I didn't have. So I've got a little bit of that. I cannot submit a ticket to Blizzard. I cannot go in and force the account to disconnect from anything that I've got signed up with BattleNet. I cannot do anything to remove that from my account in game, because in order to do that, I need to have the login information for the person that decided to sync to my account.
Oh, this is great.
So that's my Overwatch 2 experience. It is the game, the fundamentals of the game itself. It's still Overwatch. It's still great. I'm a big fan of a lot of like the meta changes and balances that they've done.
Okay.
Healers do a better job at healing. Tanks do a better job at tanking. DPS does a better job at DPS. I think the overall systems currently are good. Mine is a few tweaks for some specific characters that need to be done. Reinhardt's a fucking menace right now. Um, yeah, no, the game itself is good. It is just one of the most predatory AAA launches I have ever seen. And
Oof.
that's coming from someone who bought Battlefield every year up until Battlefield 1 came out.
Hmm, something to say.
The skins cost money, like actual money, not currency, which you also have to pay money for. Um, there's a currency in the game that you use to buy the battle pass and certain skins. But then there are other skins in their daily rotation shop that are straight up just, hey, give us $12. Not let's convert $12 worth of currency into buying the skin. It's no, give us $12 American. You can get this costume for your character. Um, the battle pass, there's a free battle pass and a premium battle pass. The only thing of note that you get out of the free version of the battle pass is the new character that they lock behind it, because that's how they're doing new characters. If you buy the battle pass, you get that new character right away, and then a lot of it just kind of revolves around cosmetics for them. I took the plunge to see how bad it was going to be. As someone who has spent $10 on this game and spent the entire weekend playing it, do not spend money on this game. Um, there is no sense of reward, no sense of progression that the first one had, where I'm playing a game, I'm working my way to that next character level, I'm working towards that next loot box. There's none of that. It is grinding out battle pass tiers through seasonal, weekly, daily challenges, and eventually character-specific challenges that they're going to roll out within the next couple weeks. Um, it did not launch with the PvE mode that they said it was going to. I, it's an unfinished game.
Yep.
For what they have marketed this game as, it is an unfinished game in its current state.
And this is an official release, right? Like this isn't just like early access
No,
or
there
open
is
beta or
there is
anything.
no beta. This is 1.0.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Got an uphill battle to say the fucking least.
The core gameplay is good. Like if you were a fan of Overwatch 1 and you're curious, hey, I wonder how this game plays, it's worth a couple hours. It's worth a few hours. I find myself getting sucked into that loop. I was out of Overwatch 1 for a few years. So it's kind of been cool to go back and see how certain characters have evolved, what the new characters kind of do, how they've reworked some stuff for Overwatch 2. It's been pretty fun to like see that aspect of it, but
Mm-hmm.
to know that it's just fucking it's there to make microtransaction money off of. It is so disgusting to me because I don't get super heavy into Blizzard games. Like Warcraft wasn't my thing. Couldn't get into StarCraft, Diablo. I'm kind of 50-50 on. I genuinely liked the Overwatch world. I like the lore. I like the characters. I like the story building, and all of that's going to go by the wayside. So they can just fucking make people shill out $30 for skins. It's very irritating to me.
That's hella gay. Oh shit. That's really unfortunate, honestly. But I mean, I also expected that
Oh,
to be a
100%. As
thing.
soon as they said it was free to play and Activision's still doing it, I was like, okay, let's see how bad it gets. But I this is the only instance of a game where it has made me say I miss loot boxes. That is how bad it is. Because at
Jesus.
least with the loot boxes, it's like, okay, at its highest point, like $40, you get 50 loot boxes. Even if you've got the shit inside of that loot box, they were still good enough to go, here's some in game currency to help you buy shit or to put towards shit that you can unlock over time. And the skins were good. That's my other problem with that. The price point that they are putting on the skins are not worth the quality of the skins. Like there are 4 or 5 skins from the Overwatch 2 release that I've sat there and gone, "Oh yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah." You know, I I'd put that on my character. I wouldn't spend money on it, but I put it on my character. Everything else that I have gone through, like I'm going through all the heroes that I missed, like fucking I didn't play a lot of the hamster. There's a new, and I can't think of names right now. I'm awful at names. But like the hamster ball, um, there's like a new robot, like assault lady. That's pretty cool. Um, couple other characters, but like I sit there and I'm going through their skin list and I'm like, oh wow, these are all really good designs. You can tell looking at individual skins whether they were made for Overwatch 1 or whether they were made for Overwatch 2,
Oof.
and not in a good way.
That's a quality issue.
Not in a good way.
They might want to hammer that out real quick. Oh boy. I can definitely say I'm not really feeling like I'm missing anything.
No, I mean, like I said, the core gameplay is fine. That's its saving grace as far as I'm concerned. The change from 6v6 to 5v5 is good. Um, I do like that. I like the quote unquote forced roles more than I thought I was going to, just because you're guaranteed to have someone stuck in a role to make sure that it's a balanced comp to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing so, that person is going to be pushed to play that role.
Okay.
Um, but I mean, there's also the option to there's also the option to get rid of that and be in a separate lobby where people can queue up with whatever they want. So you have, 4 tanks, a healer, and a DPS. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can still do that shit. Or 3 tanks, a healer, and a DPS, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. There's stuff that they do right, but the stuff that they do wrong is done so aggressively wrong that it really detracts from the stuff that I like.
Jesus. This is pretty bad. Right. Well, as for me, I don't really have an opinion on the game because I was never really into it in the first place. I played the first game a little bit. I still technically owned it. Up until it got discontinued or whatever the case may be, and I wasn't like a really big fan. I don't know. There was just something about the game that just completely turned me off. I don't remember what specifically it was. I think my issue at the time was that the games always felt extremely one-sided. There were some maps that I just didn't like because they just felt unbalanced, whether it was because of like high positions or something like that, or maybe like a single fucking champion like on either side would just single-handedly basically win you the game because the terrain just favored them so well. Um, some of them were just straight up overtuned, so on and so forth. So um, I don't know if I'll give it a shot. We'll just have to see. I may or may not stream it a little bit. We'll maybe give it a shot, but you know, we'll definitely just have to take it one day at a time because right now it doesn't. It's not really keeping my attention. So
Yeah.
yeah, but That's all I really got. You got anything else, Carter?
Um, um, drink your Ovaltine.
You heard it first from here, guys.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
well, if that is the case, then I think we can go ahead and close out this one for the
yeah.
day.
No, that's all I
This
got.
man is kind of burnt beyond all belief, so I think we'll just go ahead and end it so he can go get some fucking sleep. Um,
Yerp.
So yeah, this will be the end of the tonight's stream. If you guys enjoyed it tonight, make sure to drop a follow both here and on Markov's Twitch channels. You can Markov's portrait is spelled exactly how you see on the screen on the Discord.
Yeah,
Um, Once you go over there, make sure to drop a follow there and on his socials, as well as dropping a follow on my socials. That way, you guys know when either of us are going live or any updates or anything like that. Make sure to go subscribe to the YouTube. That's where we put all the VODs. So that way, in case you missed them or you want to recommend our channel to somebody, you can direct them to it. Um, let's see, anything else? I think
yeah.
I'm gonna try and stream tomorrow. I've been making it a slight habit of streaming on Mondays and Saturdays for the most part. We'll hopefully be finishing out DMC5 tomorrow. It seems like we're really close.
Great
Um,
game.
it is a good game. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Same.
Which is a lot to say because it's been a while since I've actually finished out a single player game in a relatively short time span. So, other than that,
Yeah,
might be streaming a little bit of Star Citizen, a little bit of something else. You know what I'm saying? So, um,
yeah.
as for Markov, I don't know when he's gonna be streaming next. He's kind of a lame ass.
I, yeah, no, I was taking a break to recoup from some burnout that I've been working through the last couple months here. But
I feel it.
I'm gonna get back into it for sure this week. I know I just dunked on it a lot, but I'm kind of feeling like doing some Overwatch tomorrow. Um, I've also got a new character for Elden Ring that I started on stream.
Oh yeah.
I have yet to beat that game at all.
Same.
So, um, I got decently far when it came out, and then I stopped playing it for long enough that I could not for the life of me remember what I needed to do. So
I'm
I
also
just
in
said,
that
fuck it.
position.
I just said, fuck it. Got a samurai build going right now. It's still pretty early, but having fun with that. So yeah, those two were. I'm gonna scope out some of the No Man's Sky update this week and see if I can get a couple streams out of that. But there'll be something this week, probably tomorrow or Tuesday. So
Fantastic. Well, on that note, I think we'll go ahead and end it. I think all the promos and stuff are done. So
yeah,
everyone here that's actually watching right now, have a good night. Stay safe. Drink water. All that good shit. Doses.
have a good night, gamers.